Good morning. Just after 6 o'clock, Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Miss Erin, tons of local news. She's got it in just a second or two.
The Bossier superintendent decides to retire. We'll talk about that. A big law enforcement summit at City Hall. We'll have that as well. And is Aunt Bee gone?
Speaking of the law enforcement summit, so to speak, ran into the mayor last night. Tell you about our little conversation. Not really. I mean, it was just a casual tone.
You got to talk to him? The guards didn't stop you?
Interesting you would mention that. Plus, did you see Super Bowl ratings specifically for the city of New Orleans?
Oh, yeah.
Traffic and weather and Fletcher and sports, it's all coming up this hour, and it's right here on KEEL.
KEEL Morning Report, now on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
The Bossier superintendent steps down. Matt Parker with details.
Amid a federal drug investigation, Bossier Schools has announced that Superintendent Scott Smith has retired effective immediately. While no charges have officially been filed, Smith is being investigated for allegedly purchasing a large quantity of prescription drugs online. The school board will meet on Thursday to appoint an interim superintendent. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
There was a law enforcement summit at City Hall. Shreveport Mayor Adrian Perkins and Police Chief Ben Raymond met with the U.S. Attorney, the City Marshal, members of Barksdale, reps from the Caddo Sheriff's Office, and others to talk about ways to build partnerships and make the community as a whole safer. Bossier City leaders say the water system has tested negative for brain-eating amoeba. The water samples were taken on January 23rd. The city's been battling the amoeba since early October, and now that the system has tested completely negative, city leaders say they will start reducing chlorine levels in the water. To help combat the issue in the future, the city has installed 22 automatic flushing units and 2 new chemical boosting stations. A 15-year-old North Caddo Magnet High student behind bars after making threats on social media. According to the sheriff, the boy threatened to shoot another student at school due to an ongoing dispute. The student's been arrested and booked into the juvenile lockup. Alfred Wilson is locked up today in Bossier after a physical altercation with a 66-year-old man. According to police, Wilson punched the elderly man and destroyed his phone. Then at some point after police arrived, Wilson also hit an officer. Wilson faces a laundry list of charges, including criminal property damage and battery on an officer. Governor Edwards has released a couple of new digital ads, with the message being the state is better off now compared to how it was when he took over. Political analyst Bernie Pincinat says it's an absolute must for Edwards to start campaigning now before opposing campaigns begin to target him.
The governor's doing what he should be doing, which is getting out ahead of the critics who are going to start attacking his lack of accomplishments, his breaking his promise not to raise taxes.
Pincinat expects return fire from GOP candidates, highlighting the shortcomings of Edwards' first term. The U.S. Supreme Court will take up a challenge to a Louisiana law requiring abortion clinics to have admitting privileges at a local hospital. Loyola law professor Dan Cialino says a ruling in favor of the law could signal a major shift in the court's treatment of abortion-related issues.
Supreme Court watchers, of course, are very interested in this case because it'll signal whether the court has any interest in disturbing what is now binding precedent.
The law's been put on hold until at least Thursday. The president speaks to the nation tonight for his annual State of the Union address. It comes just after a contentious government shutdown centered on his demands for funding a border wall, a demand that ultimately was not met. Senator John Kennedy says he expects the president will touch on these three major questions.
The crisis we're having on our southern border. I hope he'll give us an update on his trade discussions. My guess is the president will talk a little bit about North Korea and where we are with our negotiations with Kim Jong-un.
The speech will be made in the House of Representatives. A prominent competitor to Netflix is claiming the streamer is deceiving the public about what's a hit and what is not. The FX network's chief says that Netflix is using cloudy measurements to claim its audience numbers. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM and 710 KEEL on to Tuesday morning traffic. Had to look at the watch. Tuesday morning traffic, here's Ruben.
So far, no major traffic accidents are reported in the Shreveport-Bossier City area, and it looks like things are moving smoothly. But if that changes and you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Warm temperatures across the Arklatex, but we will trend cooler toward the end of the week with highs in the 40s on Friday. Clouds here today, a rain shower, 76. Cloudy tonight, low 66. Clouds tomorrow with an afternoon shower, 76. Rain and thunderstorms on Thursday. Thursday's high, 70. Richard Wettig, the Weather Channel.
ShreveportHelpWanted.com presents
Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Don't forget the KEEL app is always a free download, presented by Office Furniture Source.
Yes, sir.
So
my mic's not on.
Did you see the
Yes, sir.
ratings numbers for the Super Bowl, and specifically how low they were?
Yeah, they were down there.
But did you see the numbers?
I saw there were 100 million. It's the lowest in 10 years.
It was normally the ratings, to put it in Nielsen metrics. On average, it's about a 55 share, meaning that 55% of televisions in use in America at one time were watching the Super Bowl. Now, as much as that seems, was it the MASH? The final episode of MASH had like an 82 back in 1984, something like that?
Yeah.
Imagine 80% of America well, who were watching TV at the time.
Well, you only had 3 networks then, so that's
there were 3
little bit
networks. There
different.
was PBS. There were a lot of UHF stations back then. But you're right. There were markedly fewer stations.
Way fewer choices.
But still, an 80.
That's still 100 million people, though. That's 100 million.
80.
You'll never get close to 100 million for anything else.
You don't think so?
Never. Never. The president will be lucky if he's got 10 million watching tonight.
Are the networks going to show it? Do they hate Trump so much?
They're showing it. They're
wow.
showing it.
Yeah, with commentary going in the background. The point is this. On average, the Super Bowl does about a 55.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, a couple of days ago, they did a 44.
44.9.
Which is about a 20%? That's a pretty big hit.
Yeah.
Now, I know about 4 people specifically that did not watch the Super Bowl. 2 of them were Saints fans. Mm-hmm. By the way, did you see the numbers in New Orleans? Did you see the Super Bowl numbers out of New Orleans?
I didn't see that, no.
Okay, New Orleans, on average. In fact, there's a couple of cities that I think are pretty interesting. New Orleans, which averages 55. In other words, it just runs true to the rest of America. New Orleans averages a 55 rating for the Super Bowl. Day before yesterday, in New Orleans, it drew a 22. It drew a 22.
I think the Super Bowl the Saints were in drew a bigger rating in New Orleans this
it
weekend.
had to have. Sure,
Yeah.
I'm sure it was a 75
No,
or maybe
I mean this weekend, actually Sunday. I bet more people in New Orleans watched that game again.
Watched the replay.
Yeah.
Well, they were in the bar. So here's the other one that this is staggering to me. In Los Angeles, they had a team in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And they only drew 44%.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
That is bad.
Now, admittedly, there's a lot to do in Los Angeles. And there's a lot of people in Los Angeles that aren't football fans, which is the reason why they keep losing teams. But to have a team in the Super Bowl and have fewer than half of the people in your city watching that game who are watching TV at that specific time, to me is absolutely, that's just brutally bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can you imagine a scenario where New Orleans is in the Super Bowl and fewer than half of the people in New Orleans watch the game if they're watching television?
Yeah.
No. New Orleans, you said nobody will do it. I guarantee you, if New Orleans had been in the Super Bowl, it would have had a 75, maybe an 80 share.
No.
In New Orleans alone? Oh, hell yes.
60, 65.
So, back to my friends, 4 people I know who did not watch the Super Bowl. Why do you think they did?
Why do you think they didn't? Because they were like me. They were frustrated with it.
What does that mean? What does that mean? I was frustrated with it.
They didn't think that it was a real Super Bowl. They think the wrong team was there.
In other words, you're a Saints fan and you think the Saints got screwed.
I think the Saints got robbed.
2 of the 4 friends are huge Saints fans, and they did not watch for that specific reason. They live here, but they did not watch for that reason. Nope, not going to watch.
Yeah.
In fact, my one friend Tommy, whom you know, he said, "Man, I hope there's a marathon of Housewives of Atlanta on."
Go Tommy, my kind of guy.
I got to find something.
Oh, well, the Puppy Bowl. I watched the Puppy Bowl.
The other 2 folks I know, the other 2 friends of mine, one of them did not watch. He said, "I think the NFL treated Colin Kaepernick poorly." Did not watch because he thinks that Colin Kaepernick got a raw deal.
Okay.
The other one, the 4th, did not watch because he did not like the way the NFL didn't stand up to Kaepernick and the social justice warriors on the anthem thing.
Right.
He's a Desert Storm vet.
Okay.
So literally, and I said to my friend who didn't watch because of Kaepernick rather, in his words, got a raw deal. I said, the NFL tried so hard to walk that line, and all they did was, pardon me, piss both of you off.
Yeah.
So you've got a Desert Storm vet I'm not watching because of the anthem protests. Then there's another guy who didn't watch because he didn't think they were fair to Kaepernick because he's not playing, because he thinks that he's been boycotted, he's been blacklisted, he's been drummed out of the NFL.
Yeah, that's heated on both sides. People get heated about that on both sides, no doubt.
And yet, you and this is the criticism I have of you, is that for someone who has complained for 2 days now, a day and a half, how boring a game it was, you continued to watch. Why did you keep watching?
It's one of my favorite sports. I love soccer and I love football.
It's not cornhole, but I know where you're going.
And I live for those those big games. I live for college is my favorite, but I still live for those big games. Yeah. And to me, it's the biggest. It's the ultimate.
So you watched it for the event.
Yeah.
Rather than
I watched for Gladys Knight. I watched for the sisters who sang "God Bless America." I watched it all.
If I am critical of you saying, well, you said that game was terrible.
It was awful.
But you continued to watch.
Yes.
Would it be fair of me to say that maybe the reason you continued to watch is because A, of the status or stature of the event, and B, you kept waiting for something to happen?
Yeah, I was waiting for some excitement. Or I was waiting for the Rams to get robbed. That's what I was really waiting for.
That's what you were praying for.
I was praying for that.
It was Sunday. You'd been at church lighting candles.
Oh, how did you know?
I just had a
small town, isn't it?
Yeah. Word gets around.
It cost me $20 to light all those candles.
Well, you got to put money in. Got to put money in the box.
Yeah, man, that's a shame. And
so
I lost all that money.
If you knew right now, if the Super Bowl were going to be played tomorrow, and you knew that it was Rams, Patriots, and you knew it was going to be that same boring 13-3, but all the stuff that goes along with it, the commercials and the celebration.
I'd watch all the pageantry, yeah.
The pageantry, I was thinking
panorama. I'd watch all that.
Okay, so even if you knew it was going to be a lousy game again, you'd watch it again.
I wouldn't watch the game necessarily. I might watch for the interception. I might watch for a couple of the plays that were big. But I wouldn't watch the whole game over.
Across the country, Super Bowl ratings down. Super Bowl ratings down more than 20%.
You got to talk about who you ran into yesterday, and you had to fight your way through the guards and all.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Traffic time. We got Brandon today.
Be careful in the Shreveport-Bossier City area this morning. Roads are still slick, but no major accidents reported yet. If you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Warm temperatures across the Arklatex, but we will trend cooler toward the end of the week with highs in the 40s on Friday. Clouds here today, a rain shower, 76. Cloudy tonight, low 66. Clouds tomorrow with an afternoon shower, 76. Rain and thunderstorms on Thursday. Thursday's high 70. Richard Wettigan, the Weather Channel.
FM 710 Keel Sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Former New Orleans first-round pick Darren Collison scored 22 points, including 5 in the final 2 minutes, to lead Indiana to a 109-107 win over the skidding Pelicans in the Smoothie King Center. The Pelicans were not only missing Anthony Davis, but Nikola Mirotic, Julius Randle, Elfrid Payton, and Antoine Moore also missed Monday's game. Pelicans have lost 3 in a row. The Dallas Mavericks welcomed Kristaps Porzingis to town Monday, even though the freshly acquired talent from New York won't play until sometime next season due to a knee injury. Mavs owner Mark Cuban made it clear the team's intention is to pair Porzingis with rookie sensation Luka Doncic. Quote, "Our goal is to keep these two together for the next 20 years. What is a shame is that Porzingis and Dirk Nowitzki most likely will never play together because Porzingis is out for the rest of the season." LSU's women rebounded from a pair of consecutive losses, including an embarrassing blowout by Mississippi State last Thursday with a 61-51 win over visiting Missouri last night. Former Loyola Lady Flyer Amber Smith had 10 points for Mizzou. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Hey, guys.
.101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. No, you have the wrong picture.
What?
So I on one of my running routes, see, I have 3 running routes.
Mm-hmm.
I've got like the 30-minute one.
Yeah.
I've got the 45-minute one. People say, how far do you run? I run for time. I don't run distance. So I've got the 30-minute route, give or take. I've got the 45-minute route, give or take, and I've got the 60-minute route, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
Well, along the middle route, I go through a bunch of different neighborhoods and stuff, and Adrian's mom, Mayor Perkins' mom, lives on one of the streets. I know that because I see him there every night. And I'm running down the street last night. It's about maybe 6:45 or 7 o'clock at night, close to 7. And I'm across the street, and a car pulls in, and I hear, Robert, is that you? And I said, Mr. Mayor, is that you?
Mm-hmm.
He said, yeah, how you doing? I went across the street, shook hands, blah, blah, blah. He's got a cold. He'd gotten some soup. He's visiting his mom. The point is this, and I'll make this point, and I want everyone to listen. Listen to me, okay? I ran into the mayor last night. We had a very nice 2 or 3 minute chat.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the point. There were no Mossad agents. There were no kung fu wielding Shaolin monks, and there were no SPD officers, plainclothes or otherwise. Just to set the record straight, he went to his mom's house last night to visit, and he drove himself.
What was the car bulletproof?
I have no idea. I wasn't packing. It looked like a regular SUV to me.
Interesting.
But Adrian's fighting a cold. He's got a cough. He just got back from D.C. We caught up a little bit. I said, give your best to my mom. Give my best to your mom. Is what and then I took off running again. So, no.
So no guards. No bulletproof.
No, I don't know. I don't know. Looked like a regular SUV to me.
How did D.C. go? Did he say?
Didn't say. He said it was just, he'd been fighting a cold for about 10 days now.
Yeah.
He said, just, I'm going in the house. He says, take my tie off. Eat my soup.
Relax.
I said, I've probably been going at it since about 6 o'clock this morning.
What time in the evening was it?
A little before 7 o'clock.
Okay.
I was late running yesterday.
That's a long day. Man, that's a long day.
Yeah, his wasn't. He had a tough one, too.
Your 5-hour days are. They're rough.
Erin has said for years, and this is legit, and she'll say it to me, and I don't know who else she'd say it to. Maybe her friends. We talk about this all the time. And I'm going to have to clean it up. So
please clean it up. Yeah.
Give me a moment to
We don't want Matt to have to hit the Jack Spring Electric Shockbuster button.
Give a new syntax to the sentence, if you will.
Please do.
The hours make this job worth a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted to set the record straight. that I ran into Mayor Perkins last night. There were no, like I said, no Israeli Mossad agents. No, no little laser lights on me as I approached. No, it's just
man.
him.
He's not packing.
Him and his La Madeleines, I think. That was about it.
Man.
28 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Any guests on the horizon this morning?
No, I hadn't really done
Give
any
me the
work.
latest, just in a nutshell, on our friend Scott Smith in Bossier Parish.
Scott, the superintendent apparently has decided to retire. That's the formal release we got from the school board yesterday, that he has decided to retire effective immediately.
You got details in the newscast, right?
Yeah, it's all coming up in the news.
That's a couple of seconds away. Then I want to talk about it in a little more specific detail in the next segment, if you don't mind. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Erin and local news, so close you can hold your breath. That meant you, by the way. Thank you very much. Travis, here's Brandon.
So far, no major traffic accidents reported in the Shreveport-Bossier City area, and it looks like things are moving smoothly. But if that changes and you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Warm temperatures across the Arklatex, but we will trend cooler toward the end of the week with highs in the 40s on Friday. Clouds here today, a rain shower, 76. Cloudy tonight, low 66. Clouds tomorrow with an afternoon shower, 76. Rain and thunderstorms on Thursday. Thursday's high, 70. Richard Oettinger, the Weather Channel.
Of information. KEEL News now.
Fighting crime, a top priority in our region. There was a law enforcement summit at City Hall. The mayor and the police chief met with the U.S. attorney, the city marshal, members of Barksdale, and reps from the Caddo Sheriff's Office and others to talk about ways to build partnerships and make the community safer. Amid a federal drug investigation, Bossier Schools announcing that Superintendent Scott Smith has retired, effective immediately. While no charges have officially been filed, Smith is being investigated for allegedly purchasing a large quantity of prescription drugs online. The school board set to meet on Thursday to appoint an interim superintendent. A Caddo student arrested for terrorizing. Matt Parker with that.
A 15-year-old North Caddo Magnet High student is behind bars after making threats on social media. According to Caddo Parish Sheriff Steve Prater, the boy threatened to shoot another student at school due to an ongoing dispute. The student has been arrested and booked into the Juvenile Detention Center. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Bossier City leaders say their water system has tested negative for brain-eating amoeba. The water samples were taken on January 23rd. The city's been battling the amoeba since early October. Alfred Wilson behind bars in Bossier after a physical altercation with a 66-year-old man. Police believe Wilson punched the elderly man and destroyed his phone. Then at some point after police arrived, Wilson also struck an officer. If you need help with your taxes, IRS volunteers are ready to help. They'll be at the Hamilton branch of the Shreve Memorial Library every Monday from 5 to 7 p.m. until April 8. President Donald Trump is expected to call for optimism and unity in his State of the Union address tonight. Louisiana Senator John Kennedy says the speech won't just be about struggles like immigration and trade. He anticipates the commander-in-chief will also highlight his economic policies.
My guess is he'll spend some time talking about some of our accomplishments. The economy's doing great. It's not doing so well in part in Louisiana, but the reason for that is our state government.
On immigration, thousands of migrants from Central America are in Mexico. across the border from Eagle Pass, Texas, hoping to get into the U.S. Griff Jenkins is at a shelter in Mexico housing those migrants and says many of them are having health issues.
They're sick, they're coughing, they have flu-like symptoms. There's gastrointestinal conditions, and there's one confirmed case of HIV and another case that they're really watching that they believe is exhibiting symptoms of swine flu.
The Border Patrol concerned that some of those migrants may cross into the U.S. by wading across the river. A new big king in the airport world. We get that from Chris Foster.
O'Hare International in Chicago was the busiest airport in the country last year, knocking Hartsfield-Jackson in Atlanta down to second place. The Federal Aviation Administration put out the 2018 numbers showing O'Hare had more than 903,000 arrivals and departures, about 8,000 more than Atlanta. United Airlines has been adding more flights from Chicago to smaller Midwestern cities. The next busiest airports in the U.S. were Los Angeles International, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Denver International. Chris Foster, Fox News.
This one might have you scratching your head. It's from the small town of Arnowville in St. Martin Parish, where a 42-year-old woman is accused of stealing flowers and other items from a cemetery. Police believe she was flipping the stolen goods on social media. I'm Erin McCarty from 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert and Erin. So I had about 5 minutes there to think about it, and I don't know if I want to talk about it now.
Mm-hmm. What?
Because they're just such nice people.
Who?
I'm talking about Scott Smith.
I know.
And
that's when I feel like a heel. That's the times in my life I feel like a heel. Because obviously I've called them both.
Sometimes life will just sneak up on you.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people that have faced troubles for whom I had a great deal of respect.
Oh, absolutely.
And admiration, and just flat out like them a lot.
And who among us has not had a time in our life when it's like, oh God, I'm at the bottom. I'm doing things I shouldn't be doing. I mean, we've all done that. We've all had times in our life. Mine was in my way younger days. But, I still, that's, Robert, for me, Friday was tough because not only did I call and text Scott Smith and Jane Smith, I was calling and texting friends of theirs and people that are close to them. And
bluntly speaking, I
feel like a nutria.
Pardon me.
I really do.
Well,
crawling in the mud
with
holes.
Slightly better hair.
Yeah, I don't know.
The point is, you felt a little sleazy because you had to dig a little bit.
Yeah, I had to do it. Yeah, you have to. I think they understand, but in the case of Jane Smith, and I'm speaking. God, I shouldn't do this.
Well, do you want to think about it?
No. I think she understands. I think she understands why I was calling, and And I understand why she didn't call back, and I think not even speaking to her, we both know what the other had to do and wasn't doing or was doing. I hope through mutual respect of years of knowing each other. I think she knew I had to do what I did, and I think I know, and she knows I know, that she wasn't going to pick up her phone. Despite, every other time, she always gets right back to me on any, bad, good, or indifferent. This is a case, this is a little too, sorry, I can't help you with this. And I get that. And there's no hard feelings at all. Nothing. I just pray for him. I really do. I know that's what she would say. I know that's what Scott would say. It's keep me in your prayers. He's going to retire. They're going to find a new superintendent and move on. It was a tough year for Bossier Schools. I mean, tough year. You have that Benton elementary teacher who was accused of molesting children, and the lawsuit that came as a result of that. You have all the prayer lawsuits that have been going on. It's been a tough year, real tough year, and that's stressful. And I'm not condoning doing anything illegal, but
let's just say on the personal side, we admire them both. We think of the world of them both. They are both wonderfully nice, kind, sweet people.
Yes,
and we wish them the best.
And I'm sure Scott Smith will bounce back and be active in his retirement, doing something to help our community.
639, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic update. How's about now? Here's Brandon.
Couple of accidents in the Shreveport-Bossier City area you're going to need to look out for. 18-wheeler on its side, I-49 just north of the Frierson exit. That area is going to be very slow while wreckers try to take care of the accident. If you see anything else, make sure you let us know by calling us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Warm temperatures across the Arklatex, but we will trend cooler toward the end of the week with highs in the 40s on Friday. Clouds here today, a rain shower, 76. Cloudy tonight, low 66. Clouds tomorrow with an afternoon shower, 76. Rain and thunderstorms on Thursday. Thursday's high, 70. Richard Wettigan, the Weather Channel.
As an aside, I am constantly fascinated. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. I am constantly fascinated by the origin of band names.
Which one you got now?
And that bumper music was Alien Ant Farm.
Oh, yeah.
And I just always wondered.
Alien Ant Farm. How did they get that?
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
Or Maroon 5 in the Super Bowl. I have no idea how they came up with that name. I mean,
I don't know. That's an interesting question. Maroon 5. Why aren't you Maroon 2? There's 5 of them, I guess, in the band.
Real quick, Google origin of Maroon 5. Not to get way off the track, but they just popped into my head.
Yeah. An Alien Ant Farm. It's got to be some reference in a in a novel or something, I would imagine.
I have no idea.
No telling. A lot of them you'll find are in novels. It'll be like a line in a novel. But I don't know about Maroon 5.
Or maybe they just maybe the guy had an ant farm when he was a kid.
Could be. That could be. And he likes space aliens. Who knows? Not seeing anything that's helping us?
Oh, no. There's an article that says Adam Levine told Billy Joel about the meaning of the name, but the website
Billy Joel
froze.
was drinking and tipped over and forgot. I need you to Google something else for me.
Okay, let me
You
get
may
on
have
the
seen the
Google.
story yesterday, but I am trying. This is my latest sort of project.
Yeah.
I am attempting to spend 5 days of my life, and I started yesterday because I saw this article Sunday.
Okay.
And so I thought, you know what would be interesting? Try to spend 5 days of your life in the mindset of a liberal snowflake college student
Yeah.
who is offended by everything.
Right.
Now, I told you that to tell you this, because doing that, I find racist, sexist, bigoted, homophobic monsters behind every tree.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I want you to Google for me.
I'm on the Goog.
Mary Poppins.
It's right here. Mary Poppins racist.
That's what I wanted you to look
I
up.
saw that last night.
The classic film. Have you got, you read it to me.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't see this, this is a college professor, and a number of people are jumping on his Mary Poppins, not the new one with Emily Blunt. It's the old one from the 60s with Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke.
Yep.
So,
a U.S. professor is deeming the classic 1964 film Mary Poppins racist.
Racist?
Accusing
Why?
Julie Andrews of blacking up her face with soot while dancing with chimney sweeps. In a New York Times op-ed called Mary Poppins and a Nanny's Shameful Flirting with Blackface, Professor Daniel Pollock Pelsner slammed the iconic dance scene where Poppins joins Dick Van Dyke's Bert on a
the chimney
rooftop
sweep, yeah.
for the song Step in Time. When the magical nanny accompanies her young charges, Michael and Jane Banks, up their chimney, her face gets covered in soot. But instead of wiping it off, she gamely powders her nose and cheeks even blacker.
So what do you think about that? Just stop right there.
I
What do you think
about
about
lost my noodles when I saw that last night. And I don't have many noodles left.
No.
And I thought, they're chimney sweeps. When you clean out a chimney, you get dirt on you head to toe. You get dirt covering your face. I find this a stretch. It's not like she's blackening her face to portray an African-American person.
And yet, if you disagree,
I guess I'm racist.
you're a racist.
Okay.
If you don't see the obvious hatred, and that's how they look at it.
In the new movie, they don't do this, correct?
I have no idea.
There's no way they could.
Haven't
There's no
seen
way.
it. Mixed reviews.
I'm
Okay, wait a second. Now you make an interesting point. They wouldn't dare do that now. Why not?
Well, simply because of the
Because you
climate
don't
of
want
the
this.
times.
Because you don't want this crazy person yelling at you.
Climate of the times. It's just it would be something you wouldn't
Okay,
wouldn't do.
so what did
even
I-
though it is crazy.
What did I say to start the segment? What did I tell you? My project is
Your project is to put yourself in the shoes
of a
of a snowflake millennial.
I
yeah,
am
liberal.
trying to sit in the mental chair of Professor Daniel Pollock Pelsner,
Yeah, okay.
who says that the chimney sweep dance with Mary Poppins is racist.
Okay.
And so I am attempting to find racism, bigotry, sexism, homophobia behind every tree.
Okay.
And I found it last night.
Did you?
Yes. Now, when I say it out loud, I go, damn, that makes a lot of sense. So maybe if you look at it through this guy's lens, maybe what I'm about to tell you isn't that outrageous. You tell me. Okay, you think this guy, Daniel Pollock Pelsner, who says that Mary Poppins, the chimney sweep scene, Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke, he says that's racist. You say, come on, dude, stop it.
Yeah.
You snowflake, ya. So I'm watching last night. I really, really like action movies. Not the ones with the real violence, but like pretend violence, if you know what it like Jason Statham or Dwayne Johnson or Jet Li.
Yep.
My favorite Jet Li movie is from the early 2000s. I think it's 2003, I don't know. And it's called Romeo Must Die.
Okay.
And no need to get into the plot, but he sort of finds himself, Jet Li, kung fu guy, finds himself in the middle of this gang war between two black gangs. And in one scene, one of the gangs is trying to kill him. And it's your typical Jet Li / Dwayne Johnson / Jason Statham scene where it's like about 8-on-1.
Right.
And you know he's going to win the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's Jet Li fighting about 8 black guys. And at one point, he's cornered in this warehouse. He's cornered. And he takes a water hose, like a big fire hose, off the wall and turns it on. You let me know when the racist alarm goes off.
Mm-hmm.
He takes the fire hose off the wall. This big, high-powered, high-pressured fire hose.
Yeah.
And starts spraying the black guys with it. And I'm thinking, that's racist. That's as
Is
racist.
it?
Yes. Bull Connor, George Wallace, Birmingham.
Oh, yeah.
The police turning the fire hoses on the black protesters.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm thinking, wait a second. Is that racist? Is that a horrible thing to do? Has no one ever called? Is that any less racist than Mary Poppins, than Julie Andrews in blackface? 649, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL, Weather Channel forecast. It's going to be 70 or 75 again today. Right now, 63, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Here is your money now. Wow, Tuesday already. The week is flying by. Sports update. Here's Fletch on KEEL.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Former New Orleans first-round pick Darren Collison scored 22 points, including 5 in the final 2 minutes, to lead Indiana to a 109-107 win over the skidding Pelicans in the Smoothie King Center. The Pelicans were not only missing Anthony Davis, but Nikola Mirotic, Julius Randle, Elfrid Payton, and Antoine Moore also missed Monday's game. Pelicans have lost 3 in a row. The Dallas Mavericks welcomed Kristaps Porzingis to town Monday, even though the freshly acquired talent from New York won't play until sometime next season due to a knee injury. Mavs owner Mark Cuban made it clear the team's intention is to pair Porzingis with rookie sensation Luka Doncic. Quote, "Our goal is to keep these two together for the next 20 years. What is a shame is that Porzingis and Dirk Nowitzki most likely will never play together because Porzingis is out for the rest of the season." LSU's women rebounded from a pair of consecutive losses, including an embarrassing blowout by Mississippi State last Thursday with a 61-51 win over visiting Missouri last night. Former Loyola Lady Flyer Amber Smith had 10 points for Mizzou. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
So see if you can do that for the next few days. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin.
Be a snowflake?
Try to look through the world through the lens where everything is racist, bigoted, sexist, filled with hate.
Well, I did get a letter.
And I'm talking, pardon me, like the Jet Li movie.
Yeah.
Okay? Jet Li is spraying black people with a fire hose.
Yeah.
That could be construed. If Mary Poppins is racist, if Mary Poppins with soot on her face dancing with Dick Van Dyke is the equivalent of whoever is in that Virginia medical school yearbook, governor or not. And I think you can easily make the case that that was purposefully racist.
Right.
Or at least racially insensitive.
Yeah.
If that's the case, if Mary Poppins is racially insensitive or racist,
right,
wouldn't a Jet Li movie where he's spraying black people with a fire hose, 2020 movie's almost 20 years old, is that any less racist? I would say no.
You got a point.
I got to work at it.
I got a complaint letter the other day, and it was addressed to KEEL management. And
is this your sexist?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And it said, "Dear Sir."
Oh, brother.
And, of course, I'm the brand manager of KEEL.
Ding, 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 ding.
Our big boss is a woman.
Are there any male managers in this place?
Well, we have one.
Yeah,
and
but nobody thinks.
But he doesn't. I deal with KEEL, and I deal directly with the female. And I just posted a silly comment on my Facebook about how I find this offensive. Everybody said I need to put my big girl panties on and get over it.
We have 6.
It was just a silly little comment. Don't address letters to "Dear Sir" anymore.
We have 7 managers in this building. 1 is a guy.
Yeah.
1 is a guy.
Stop addressing letters "Dear Sir." And one of the snowflakes, I'm sorry, I'm trying to be a snowflake. One of the people who got onto me for griping, I just replied to him, "Thank you, ma'am."
That ain't bad. 6:56, Rush on KEEL.
Everybody thinks that President Trump is worried about the growing list of Democrats who want his job. Guess again. On CBS Slay the Nation, President Trump reacted to the latest Democrat to announce his candidacy, Spartacus. Trump said that Senator Cory Booker, New Jersey, has no chance of winning the presidency. He didn't base his assessment on focus groups or some complex political formula. Trump gave just one reason that he thinks Booker has no chance, and that is he knows him. Spartacus isn't the only Democrat Trump isn't worried about. So far, he said he doesn't see any announced Democrat who concerns him. He even sent well wishes to one of his biggest critics, Massachusetts Senator Pocahontas. President Trump said that he would love to run against Elizabeth Warren. As for Howard Schultz, President Trump says the ex-Starbucks CEO doesn't have the guts to run. He's supremely confident. He's not intimidated. And anybody who thinks President Trump will be easy to beat has another thing coming. As to Spartacus, Trump says, "Why do you think you can be president after you destroy a city?" He's talking about Newark. It's a good question. Did you know that there is a new victim of identity theft every 2 seconds? It means a criminal could be spending your money, applying for loans in your name, and even damaging your good credit, all without you even knowing. And it's a good thing there's LifeLock identity theft protection. LifeLock uses proprietary technology to detect and alert you to a wide range of identity threats, like your social security number for sale on the dark web. And if you do have an issue involving identity theft, one of LifeLock's identity restoration specialists is going to work with you to fix it. Now, no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but with LifeLock, you get identity theft protection and additional features to help protect your devices against cyber threats for as low as $9.99 a month. Go to lifelock.com or call 800-440-4833. Use the promo code RUSH for 10% off your first year. It's lifelock.com. And don't forget the name RUSH as the promo code for 10% off your first year.
Watch out for a slowdown near Towel Drive and Technology Drive as a major accident is being cleaned up there. And of course, that 18-wheeler on its side, I-49 north, just south of the Frierson exit. If you see anything else, make sure you let us know by calling us on the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Warm temperatures across the Arklatex, but we will trend cooler toward the end of the week with highs in the 40s on Friday. Clouds here today, a rain shower, 76. Cloudy tonight, low 66. Clouds tomorrow with an afternoon shower, 76. Rain and thunderstorms on Thursday. Thursday's high, 70. Richard Wettigan, the Weather Channel.
Breaking news and trending talk. KEEL, 710 AM and K269GO, 1017 FM, Shreveport.
Just after 7 o'clock, Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, and the KEEL app, and Erin, and local news is up next.
Big changes for education in Bossier. We'll talk about that. A law enforcement summit at City Hall, and the latest on Bossier's water.
Are up next, is up next, are up next. I should have said are.
That's all right.
I'm very much the stickler for grammar.
Okay.
Maybe a gubernatorial candidate this hour. Maybe we'll have an update on the proposed garbage fee. There's plenty to talk about. Oh,
Okay.
and why Erin is bad for American civilization.
What?
Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather. It's all here this hour coming up on KEEL.
KEEL Morning Report, now on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
There was a law enforcement summit at City Hall. Shreveport Mayor Adrian Perkins and Police Chief Ben Raymond met with the U.S. Attorney, the City Marshal, members of Barksdale, reps from the Caddo Sheriff's Office, and others to talk about ways to build partnerships and make the community as a whole safer. Amid a federal drug investigation, Bossier Schools announcing that Superintendent Scott Smith has retired, effective immediately. While no charges have officially been filed, Smith is being investigated for allegedly purchasing a large quantity of prescription drugs online. The school board set to meet on Thursday to appoint an interim superintendent. Bossier water is clean again. Matt Parker with the latest.
According to Bossier City, the water system has tested negative for brain-eating amoeba. The water samples were taken on January 23rd. The city's been battling the amoeba since early October. Now that the system has tested completely negative, the city will start reducing chlorine levels in the water. To help combat the issue in the future, the city has installed 22 automatic flushing units and 2 chemical boosting stations. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
A 15-year-old North Caddo Magnet High student behind bars after making threats on social media. According to the sheriff, the boy threatened to shoot another student at school due to an ongoing dispute. The student's been arrested and booked into the juvenile lockup. Alfred Wilson is locked up today in Bossier after a physical altercation with a 66-year-old man. According to police, Wilson punched the elderly man and destroyed his phone. Then at some point after police arrived, Wilson also hit an officer. Wilson faces a laundry list of charges, including criminal property damage and battery on an officer. Traffic back to normal now on I-20 in Bossier City. There was a wreck overnight, forced the interstate to be closed near Old Minden Road in the eastbound lanes. It's now back open. Governor John Bell Edwards has released a couple of new ads, with the message being the state is better off now compared to when he took over. Political analyst Bernie Pincinat expects return fire from GOP candidates, highlighting the shortcomings of Edwards' first term.
It's going to be in very negative terms, and so the governor has no choice but to start defending his record and promoting his record of accomplishments.
Pincinat says the digital ads are just the tip of the iceberg in advertising for the November governor's race. The president will speak to the country tonight at 8 o'clock for his annual State of the Union address. It comes just after a contentious government shutdown centered on his demands for funding for additional physical border wall. And in Paris, a blaze in an apartment building killed at least 10 people and sent residents fleeing to the roof or climbing out of their windows to escape. And if you need help with your taxes, IRS volunteers are ready to help. They'll be at the Hamilton branch of the Shreve Memorial Library every Monday through April 8th. The team will assist you in filing your taxes online for free. You just need to bring your W-2s and all necessary documents. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
1017 FM, 710 KEEL, and the KEEL app. It's traffic update time. Here's Brandon.
Watch out for a slowdown near Towel Drive and Technology Drive as a major accident is being cleaned up there. And, of course, that 18-wheeler on its side, I-49 north, just south of the Frierson exit. If you see anything else, make sure you let us know by calling us on the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Warm temperatures across the Arklatex, but we will trend cooler toward the end of the week with highs in the 40s on Friday. Clouds here today, a rain shower, 76. Cloudy tonight, low 66. Clouds tomorrow with an afternoon shower, 76. Rain and thunderstorms on Thursday. Thursday's high, 70. Richard Wettigan, the Weather Channel.
What are you doing down there? I said, the show started.
I'm texting.
1017 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. You're texting a gubernatorial candidate.
His people.
Eddie Rispone from Baton Rouge.
Yeah, he's going to be in town today.
Yeah.
He's at the GOP luncheon at the Wyndham at noon.
Interesting.
So I'm trying to get him on the air before 8 o'clock. I'm working on it.
That would be kind of cool.
So
you think your mother might have taught him, Rispone, gubernatorial candidate, Republican guy, Eddie Rispone. You think your mother may have taught him when he was in high school at Redemptorist?
I think so. My mother taught at Redemptorist for many years, and my brothers, of course, went there. I sure hope he didn't know my brothers.
How did you end up not going there?
Because we moved. We moved when I was 5. And so we moved into the St. Thomas More area, and I went to St. Thomas More.
See, it's interesting, and I've told you this before. Other than crossing the bridge and heading to New Orleans, I know nothing about Baton Rouge.
Yeah, I was
zero.
I was the first one of the family. I started kindergarten at St. Thomas More, so I went the whole way through, through 8th grade there. All my brothers went to St. Jared and then on to Redemptorist.
You were Catholic school educated until high school.
Until 9th grade, yeah.
Gotcha,
when I moved into public school, 9th grade was in junior high then, back in my day.
Then you became the snowflake, the.
Then I went to the first magnet school
sensitive
in the state. Yeah.
Snowflake.
But I'm trying to figure out how old Eddie is and to see which brother he went to school with, because he was a standout student athlete in football.
My Wikipedia page says that too.
Well, I'm looking at his Facebook. I'm looking at his Facebook bio, and I see the Redemptorist, and I see got a degree from LSU in construction. I bet my brothers know. The problem is,
why don't
it depends on which brother knew him. I'm like, do I want to mention that or not?
Well, why don't you just text your brothers? Why don't you text one of your brothers this morning? There's one in Atlanta.
Well, he's not up, and he has a flip phone. The 2 oldest are deceased.
He has a flip phone.
And the one in Baton Rouge is closer to my age.
Gotcha.
So he's young. So the 2 oldest would be the ones I'm worried about.
Need you to Google something for me.
Okay, let me get to the Google.
This is not going to turn out good for you.
Uh-oh.
But you are sort of the poster child for what is, to a great degree, and Matt will follow me on this, is the unraveling of American civilization.
Amen.
You are the poster child. You are You are exactly why America is losing its edge.
Oh no!
Yes.
What did I do?
We're going to explain that to you now.
Oh man!
I knew, you know about Hillsdale College, right?
I just hit the Google page, and Hillsdale College motto is the first thing that pops up.
That's what I have up on my page. Somehow our computers are linked.
We are synced.
What is the Hillsdale? Don't read the translation yet. Just read the Latin phrase for Hillsdale College.
Virtus tentamine gaudet.
Got it.
Got it. Okay.
Now,
Virtus tentamine got it.
Read the translation.
Strength rejoices in the challenge.
What do you think that means?
Strength rejoices in the challenge.
Virtus tentamine got it.
Strength is, you get strong when you embrace challenges. You become stronger when you embrace and tackle challenges.
When you do difficult things.
Yes.
That is exactly what I wanted you to say. Now, what's the one thing?
Oh, man, I am so not Virtus tentamine gaudet.
What is the one thing that you don't do?
I need some VTG.
You need some challenges.
Yeah, do I ever.
Here's the deal, and here's what I'm talking about.
Hillsdale College.
I thought of this the other day, and I didn't know what the Latin phrase was, but I remembered the English translation, strength rejoices in the challenge.
I need challenges.
Because you were talking the other day about how you had to go to the grocery store.
I don't do that anymore.
And my point exactly, and what that means to Erin is that you call or you get online.
No, you get online.
And you do all
click away.
You do your grocery shopping online.
Yes.
You get somebody else, like your son, to hop in the car, to go to the store, to Walmart or to the Kroger or to the Brookshires, whatever it happens to be. They put the stuff in his car. He brings it home to you and unloads it.
He unloads it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you really?
I don't mind going and picking up and unloading. I can do that.
In the scheme of things, do you see where that might not be good for you? Where your first
wait a minute
where
there,
your first reaction,
knucklehead.
Where your first instinct, your first reaction is to do less and less and less, to the point that you literally become like an agoraphobic. The only time you leave the house is to do, you're almost a shut-in. Remember my story?
I'm not a shut-in.
Remember my story? And it was in a Superman comic book, okay? And I've told you this before. And Superman somehow manages to go into the future. And in the future, he sees all these future civilization people, and they're little skinny guys with huge heads.
Yeah.
And the guys with the huge heads in the future tell Superman, because it's 1,000 years in the future, and we're all so smart because we've created these machines and computers to do all our work for us, and we're so smart, we've gotten smarter, and our heads have become huge. But because the machines do all the work for us, we're just all these little skinny, weak guys because we don't do anything anymore.
Right.
That's not quite how it's turning out. In fact, it's just the opposite. As our civilization progresses, our brains aren't getting bigger. We're not getting smarter. Our heads aren't becoming huge.
No,
with
it's
knowledge.
not. No.
And our bodies we're not turning into these little skinny, weak guys.
No, we're not.
It's just the opposite. We're these little pea-brain sized heads.
With these big old butts?
Great big ass bodies like Jabba the Hutt. It's not what Superman thought at all.
No, it's not.
It's not what the DC comic guys wrote.
Yeah.
It's not that at all. We're not getting smarter. We're getting dumber because machines do everything.
Yeah.
Spell check, calculators. I can go on. That's not making us smarter. Have you read Facebook lately?
Yeah, that's for sure. You're right about that.
So, back to the original Hillsdale motto. Virtus tentamine gaudet.
They suck.
Strength rejoices in the challenge. You need a challenge. And if for you a challenge is, I'm going to get off my futuristic butt and go take groceries off the shelf by myself.
No, I spend too much money if I do that.
So I continue to know how to walk.
Oh, I can walk.
So I continue to...
I walk to the fridge every morning.
There's only one person in this room in the last 5 days who's talked about, I need to get a contractor to come into my house and put a door on my bathtub. That is not Virtus Tentamine Gaudit. That's lazy. Never mind. We'll just stop there.
Oh, man.
19 past. It's not too late. Turn it around.
Yeah.
19
okay.
after 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Got to do sort of an update on the garbage tax and stuff. I'm sorry, the garbage fee.
Yeah.
That's coming up. Here's Brandon.
Watch out for a slowdown near Towel Drive and Technology Drive as a major accident is being cleaned up there. And, of course, that 18-wheeler on its side, I-49 North, just south of the Frierson exit. If you see anything else, make sure you let us know by calling us on the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Warm temperatures across the Arklatex, but we will trend cooler toward the end of the week with highs in the 40s on Friday. Clouds here today, a rain shower, 76. Cloudy tonight, low 66. Clouds tomorrow with an afternoon shower, 76. Rain and thunderstorms on Thursday. Thursday's high, 70. Richard Wettigan, the Weather Channel.
.101.7 FM and 710 Keel Sports Update Time.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Former New Orleans first-round pick Darren Collison scored 22 points, including 5 in the final 2 minutes, to lead Indiana to a 109-107 win over the skidding Pelicans in the Smoothie King Center. The Pelicans were not only missing Anthony Davis, but Nikola Mirotic, Julius Randle, Elfrid Payton, and Etuan Moore also missed Monday's game. Pelicans have lost 3 in a row. The Dallas Mavericks welcomed Kristaps Porzingis to town Monday, even though the freshly acquired talent from New York won't play until sometime next season due to a knee injury. Mavs owner Mark Cuban made it clear the team's intention is to pair Porzingis with rookie sensation Luka Doncic. Quote, "Our goal is to keep these two together for the next 20 years. What is a shame is that Porzingis and Dirk Nowitzki most likely will never play together because Porzingis is out for the rest of the season." LSU's women rebounded from a pair of consecutive losses, including an embarrassing blowout by Mississippi State last Thursday with a 61-51 win over visiting Missouri last night. Former Loyola Lady Flyer Amber Smith had 10 points for Mizzou. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
You've lost your... Stop it. Your mic's on.
My mic's not. Now it's on. He's going wheels up.
Was her mic on when she said that?
No.
it was not.
Maybe Mike... Did I...
Matt's messing with me today.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Matt has no effect on you at all. What you do is you come up with something outrageous, outlandish,
He said it first.
and or profane on your own.
No, Matt said it first.
Then Matt looks at you and giggles, and you go, "You're going to make me say that."
She's a train wreck. We all know it, and we're just trying to avoid.
She's the opening scene of The Fugitive.
Fair enough.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Okay, let's run down the list of city council people. I mentioned I ran into Mayor Perkins last night. We had a little chat for a couple of seconds. Didn't talk about anything political. Just hello, how you been? How was your trip to D.C.? He's fighting a cold. Hope you feel better. You said, I said, perhaps mistakenly, because we were running down the list on our own of the stances as we perceive them to be of the 7 city council people. Right now, as they get ready on, well, a week from yesterday, the work session, and then a week from today, the open session for the city council to talk about the proposed garbage fee. And I said, the way it stands right now, I said, there's going to be something, because I think all 7 will vote for it in some way. And you said, I don't think all 7.
No.
So who do you think right now of Fleury, Green, Butcher, Nicholson, Fuller, Bradford, Bowman? Who do you think of those 7 is a definite, if the vote were today and you're only speculating, who do you think would be a no?
If it stays at $18, Bradford is a no.
It's not going to stay at $18.
Right.
I mean, even the mayor said it's a work in progress.
I think Bradford may be a no. Unless it's closer to $5. I think Fleury might be a no, possibly. A definite yes, and again, not at $18. I don't think any of them are a yes at 18.
Let's an hour over and under bet was 10, right?
Yeah.
10 was the push.
Mm-hmm.
If it's in the $10 range, I can't imagine that the vote would be. Look, here's the deal: there are some politically conservative members on the city council who have, and I'm sure they'll text if I'm speaking if I'm wrong.
They will, yeah.
But in my mind, the inclination we've gotten from them is that we need something. The city needs something.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can get conservative members of the council to basically say, we might need a garbage fee.
Yeah.
What that says to me is they've looked at the books.
Right.
They've gotten, because they're the new guys, right? They've been in about a month or so, barely 6, not even 5 weeks.
Right.
And what that says to me is that they are at least open to the possibility of a garbage fee of some amount, probably less than 18.
Well, they're looking at the budget and they're freaking out.
My point exactly, that they're looking at the books and saying, you know, we got no cash here.
Yeah, we're broke. We are broke. And that's a problem. That's a huge problem. My deal is $12 funds the sanitation department. That would make that. Wait, let me make my point. That would bring in the 8-some million.
Just let me clarify. So a $12 fee would fund for 1 year the sanitation department as it now exists.
Right. Well, it would fund it every year as long as you keep that fee on the books. And then that $8 million you're spending from the general fund
would be freed up.
To go into the reserve, into police pay if you want to use part of it for that. But my issue is you still have the department funded at 60 workers, and you only have under 40. So you have that money in the sanitation budget that you're not spending either.
Now, my question to you is, okay, but we need the workers. I mean,
you don't need 60 anymore, I don't think, but you need to pay the ones you have a fair wage. And so it could still be done with that $8 million.
They want to give them a raise.
Absolutely.
Okay, so my question to you is,
I don't think we need 60 plus in the budget anymore.
How much of that $8 million, or how much more than that? How much more than the $8 million would it take to give
That's
them?
what I'm saying. You don't need more than the $8 million, because the $8 million funds it at a staffing level of 60 plus workers. You have 40. So you have a third less workers right now than you're funded for. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So you use that money from the 40 workers to the 60 to fund pay raises to keep the 40 in place at good salaries so they don't leave.
So in your mind, one of the big debates is, what are you going to do with these $8 million that's currently coming out of the general fund? That will be, how are you going to reallocate that?
If you are responsible, you put the bulk of it in the reserve. The bulk of it must go to the reserve. I could see doing something for police and firefighters, a boost in pay for them. But you got to beef up the reserve. You have got to. It is financially irresponsible, city council members, not to beef up that reserve immediately.
Work session Monday.
Yes.
What do
Big
they do
meeting on Tuesday.
Okay, now that's when all the amendments, et cetera, will be introduced.
Well, Monday, they have to have them in by Thursday or Friday of this week, and then Monday they hash them out, and Tuesday they do their voting.
So you can start doing a little digging toward the end of the week to find out what they might be proposing.
Yeah, I'm going to work on it.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Local news just a couple of seconds away. Traffic update now.
Watch out for a slowdown near Towel Drive and Technology Drive as a major accident is being cleaned up there. And, of course, that 18-wheeler on its side, I-49 North, just south of the Frierson exit. If you see anything else, make sure you let us know by calling us on the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Warm temperatures across the Arklatex, but we will trend cooler toward the end of the week with highs in the 40s on Friday. Clouds here today, a rain shower, 76. Cloudy tonight, low 66. Clouds tomorrow with an afternoon shower, 76. Rain and thunderstorms on Thursday. Thursday's high, 70. Richard Oettinger, the Weather Channel.
Information. KEEL News now.
Fighting crime, a top priority in our region. There was a law enforcement summit at City Hall. The mayor and the police chief met with the U.S. attorney, the city marshal, members of Barksdale, and reps from the Caddo Sheriff's Office and others to talk about ways to build partnerships and make the community safer. Amid a federal drug investigation, Bossier Schools announcing that Superintendent Scott Smith has retired, effective immediately. While no charges have officially been filed, Smith is being investigated for allegedly purchasing a large quantity of prescription drugs online. The school board set to meet on Thursday to appoint an interim superintendent. A Caddo student arrested for terrorizing. Matt Parker with that.
A 15-year-old North Caddo Magnet High student is behind bars after making threats on social media. According to Caddo Parish Sheriff Steve Prater, the boy threatened to shoot another student at school due to an ongoing dispute. The student has been arrested and booked into the Juvenile Detention Center. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Bossier City leaders say their water system has tested negative for brain-eating amoeba. The water samples were taken on January 23rd. The city's been battling the amoeba since early October. Alfred Wilson behind bars in Bossier after a physical altercation with a 66-year-old man. Police believe Wilson punched the elderly man and destroyed his phone. Then at some point after police arrived, Wilson also struck an officer. If you need help with your taxes, IRS volunteers are ready to help. They'll be at the Hamilton branch of the Shreve Memorial Library every Monday from 5 to 7 p.m. until April 8th. President Donald Trump is expected to call for optimism and unity in his State of the Union address tonight. Louisiana Senator John Kennedy says the speech won't just be about struggles like immigration and trade. He anticipates the commander-in-chief will also highlight his economic policies.
My guess is he'll spend some time talking about some of our accomplishments. The economy's doing great. It's not doing so well in part in Louisiana, but the reason for that is our state government.
On immigration, thousands of migrants from Central America are in Mexico across the border from Eagle Pass, Texas, hoping to get into the U.S. Griff Jenkins is at a shelter in Mexico housing those migrants and says many of them are having health issues.
They're sick, they're coughing, they have flu-like symptoms. There's gastrointestinal conditions, and there's one confirmed case of HIV and another case that they're really watching that they believe is exhibiting symptoms of swine flu.
The Border Patrol concerned that some of those migrants may cross into the U.S. by wading across the river. A new big king in the airport world. We get that from Chris Foster.
O'Hare International in Chicago was the busiest airport in the country last year, knocking Hartsfield-Jackson in Atlanta down to second place. The Federal Aviation Administration put out the 2018 numbers showing O'Hare had more than 903,000 arrivals and departures, about 8,000 more than Atlanta. United Airlines has been adding more flights from Chicago to smaller Midwestern cities. The next busiest airports in the U.S. were Los Angeles International, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Denver International. Chris Foster, Fox News.
This one might have you scratching your head. It's from the small town of Arnowville in St. Martin Parish, where a 42-year-old woman is accused of stealing flowers and other items from a cemetery. Police believe she was flipping the stolen goods on social media. I'm Erin McCarty from 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty.
I know you're going to do it.
Well, hell yeah.
I know you are.
See, here's the deal. Erin, a couple of minutes ago, right before the news started, and I don't know if this is a real deal or not. I tend to think it is, given your I really want this. I mean, there's a tone in your voice when you really want something.
Oh, is there?
Because you sound like Kirk Douglas and Spartacus.
Take care.
All the power of Rome.
It's this for me.
And she said she wanted to be, what is it, the most influential woman in the Arklatex? Is there some award?
No.
What's it called?
I just want to be among.
Yeah.
I just want to be the most influential women in Shreveport.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you want to be up
I
there?
think I'm on that list.
With the she's.
I'm pretty influential.
With
I'm not powerful, but I wield a little bit of influence.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
I got her on my list of most under the influence.
You're about to ruin my reputation right now. In one fell swoop, you're going to ruin me.
Well, that's because you're going to tell the story with enthusiasm.
A true story.
So a couple of seconds ago, you were just kind of talking to yourself. And I said, what story are you talking about? And it's a common phrase in here that we use, and it's a Chris Rock line. And it's, I don't condone it, but I understand it.
I do understand it. There's this woman in Arnowville in South Louisiana who was stealing flowers and other stuff from grave sites, like beautiful crosses and vases and that kind of thing.
What?
And she was reselling them on social media. She was flipping them. And
so
she got caught. Yeah.
She would go to cemeteries.
Yeah.
And she would hide behind trees. And when people would put flowers on graves, she would wait until they left. She would.
I mean, it wasn't real flowers. She was taking the beautiful fake stuff
tiptoe out to the grave,
and she was swiping the nice stuff and then reselling it.
That's about as cold as it gets.
And I would never do that.
Probably.
No, I would never do that.
But
darn
what
close.
You said was,
I don't condone it.
But I understand
But I understand it.
Tell them the story. We got a minute.
Oh, so Mother's Day.
Matt doesn't know that. You don't know the story, do you?
I don't.
Is this KVKI or is this 94.5?
I'm not sure. Both, probably. Because it's happened more than once. Getting up early in the morning, getting my sons when they were little, getting their lunches packed and getting everything ready for school. Wake up one Friday morning. It's the weekend before Mother's Day. And they were at St. Joe's at the time, Catholic school. And this particular Friday, they had to bring flowers for the Virgin Mary for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And every kid would bring flowers up the aisle, and they'd put it all up in the altar, and all the flowers were for the Virgin Mary. And a couple of these Fridays in my past, I wake up realizing, oh my gosh, I forgot to buy flowers. So I don't have any flowers in the fridge for the kids to take. So I get my little clippers out. Check my garden. Nada. It's brown. Brown thumb me. So
this is awesome.
I tippy-toe over to my neighbor's yard and garden, and I find beautiful flowers. I don't even remember what kind they were.
You're still living out at the lake, right?
No. This was after I moved.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. So you had to climb over a fence.
No, I would go in their front bed, in their front flower bed where everyone could see. And I apologize to the management of where I currently live now because I don't do this anymore. But I would tippy-toe in front, and I would see beautiful flowers in their tulips, whatever it might be.
So pardon me, you've got the kids in the car. You're on the way to school.
No. This is before I go to work.
No, what?
No, they're asleep.
So it's dark out.
Yes. I had the flashlight in my teeth, and I'm outside looking for flowers with the clippers. And I clip flowers from my neighbor's yard.
Front yard.
And then I go inside and I wrap them, in the foil and put them in the fridge. Leave a note for my sons.
Here's your flowers.
Here's your flowers to take to the Virgin Mary.
Mommy loves you.
They might be stolen, but the Virgin Mary understands. She doesn't condone it, but she understands. So now I'm not going to ever be voted most influential in Shreveport because of that stupid story. I'm a thief.
So just so I am clear on the chain of events here.
Yeah.
You gave your son hot tulips from your neighbor's garden?
That's basically it.
Yeah, to put on a church altar. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much true. Yeah.
Why reach when you can stoop?
Bless me, Father, I've sinned.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic time right now. Here's Brandon.
Watch out for a slowdown near Towel Drive and Technology Drive as a major accident is being cleaned up there. And, of course, that 18-wheeler on its side, I-49 north, just south of the Frierson exit. If you see anything else, make sure you let us know by calling us on the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Warm temperatures across the Arklatex, but we will trend cooler toward the end of the week with highs in the 40s on Friday. Clouds here today, a rain shower, 76. Cloudy tonight, low 66. Clouds tomorrow with an afternoon shower, 76. Rain and thunderstorms on Thursday. Thursday's high, 70. Richard Wettigan, the Weather Channel.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin, the Jack Spring electric shockbuster button about to be disabled because you're taking off a little early today, but that's not the point. We're going to talk about abortion again, and I know that makes you just squirm.
When you get into the details of it, it really does. It makes me,
You know,
But
I
it's
made
so,
the point.
I would have never thought
we
we would be talking about this today.
I made the point yesterday that based on the New York law, basically it's just a bunch of laws and or proposed legislation that would legalize abortion up to the time the baby is born. And then Northam, the Virginia governor, put his foot, just screwed up his whole life, just not among other Democrats, by saying, well, you know, if the abortion is botched, that's the operative term, that's the term they use.
Right.
And the baby's born alive, well, maybe maybe the mother, if she wants the baby to die, maybe the baby born alive should be it should just die.
Mm-hmm.
And I made the point yesterday that in the wake of the signing of the New York abortion bill by Andrew Cuomo, in the wake of the introduction of the legislation in Virginia by Kathy Tran, in the wake of those infanticide-embracing comments by Virginia Governor Ralph Northam, I said, there's not one major Democrat on a national stage who's condemned that. You haven't heard a word from Nancy Pelosi saying, I find that incredibly offensive. Has Chuck Schumer said that's horrible? I find that to me is ghastly. Nobody on the national Democrat stage has disavowed those remarks. There's a woman named Jessica Tarlov, and she's a Democrat political consultant and author, and you see her on a variety of channels. I got a quote from her from yesterday. You ready? This is Jessica Tarlov, 1/31/19, quoting, "Killing infants at the time of delivery is not murder because it is not malicious." Want me to repeat that for you?
Yeah.
Killing infants at the time of delivery is not murder because it's not malicious. Wow. Have you heard anybody condemn that? Have you heard anybody
But wait a minute. If you kill her when she walks into the hospital, you're murdering her and the baby, and you're charged with both. So can he distinguish that for me? It's not malicious. The baby just happened to die when I killed her.
Vermont legislators, here's more Democrat-inspired, Democrat-backed abortion legislation. Vermont legislators are currently considering a bill that goes beyond those currently in New York or introduced in Virginia. A frightening proposition, considering one Virginia lawmaker admitted her bill, that's Tran, would allow abortion up to the moment of birth. The Vermont bill, H0057, ready for this? Would remove all practical abortion regulations, establishing the, quoting the bill now, fundamental right to the procedure without restriction, while completely eradicating any consideration for an unborn child's right to life or viability. The bill declares, every individual has the fundamental right to choose or refuse contraception or sterilization. Every individual who becomes pregnant has the fundamental right to choose to carry a pregnancy to term, give birth to a child, or to have an abortion. A fertilized egg, embryo, or fetus shall not have independent rights under Vermont law. What distinguishes Vermont's bill from that of New York, Virginia, or Rhode Island is that it would permit abortions without consideration of viability, a major point of contention in the current debate. Additionally, the law does not outline restrictions related to the health of the mother or unborn child, i.e., permitting abortion at any time for any reason.
Holy moly.
Thoughts?
You see that the Virginia lieutenant governor is in trouble now?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Did you see who he's, for sexual harassment?
Yeah.
Did you see who he's blaming?
No, who's he blaming?
He's blaming
the governor?
Northam, the Democrat governor, saying that the Democrat governor, who is in trouble not only for his comments on unfettered, unrestricted abortion, but for the alleged blackface and Klan photo in his medical school yearbook. The lieutenant governor is saying that these stories are being pushed by the governor, the Democrats, to get him, the governor, off the hook.
But you know what, Robert? You're a little bit wrong in what you said earlier.
Well,
Because Nancy Pelosi is calling for the governor to resign.
yes, but not over that.
I was going to say, has nothing to do with his abortion debate. The abortion.
No,
it has to do with the blackface.
Yeah. Oh, there's a whole bunch of national level Democrats that are saying he should quit.
Yeah.
He should resign.
Mhm.
But it's over the supposed
They're not
blackface.
screaming and hollering about the abortion battle.
Are you the least bit surprised?
That's kind of shocking.
The party of death.
Yeah.
1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin. Your money now, just ahead, presented by Barksdale Federal Credit Union. Here's Brandon.
Watch out for a slowdown near Towel Drive and Technology Drive as a major accident is being cleaned up there. And of course, that 18-wheeler on its side, I-49 north, just south of the Frierson exit. If you see anything else, make sure you let us know by calling us on the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Warm temperatures across the Arklatex, but we will trend cooler toward the end of the week with highs in the 40s on Friday. Clouds here today, a rain shower, 76. Cloudy tonight, low 66. Clouds tomorrow with an afternoon shower, 76. Rain and thunderstorms on Thursday. Thursday's high, 70. Richard Wettigan, the Weather Channel.
.117 FM, 710 Keel Sports Update. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Former New Orleans first-round pick Darren Collison scored 22 points, including 5 in the final 2 minutes, to lead Indiana to a 109-107 win over the skidding Pelicans in the Smoothie King Center. The Pelicans were not only missing Anthony Davis, but Nikola Mirotic, Julius Randle, Elfrid Payton, and Antoine Moore also missed Monday's game. Pelicans have lost 3 in a row. The Dallas Mavericks welcomed Kristaps Porzingis to town Monday, even though the freshly acquired talent from New York won't play until sometime next season due to a knee injury. Mavs owner Mark Cuban made it clear the team's intention is to pair Porzingis with rookie sensation Luka Doncic. Quote, "Our goal is to keep these two together for the next 20 years. What is a shame is that Porzingis and Dirk Nowitzki most likely will never play together because Porzingis is out for the rest of the season." LSU's women rebounded from a pair of consecutive losses, including an embarrassing blowout by Mississippi State last Thursday with a 61-51 win over visiting Missouri last night. Former Loyola Lady Flyer Amber Smith had 10 points for Mizzou. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. She's hit the road, or at least out of the room. And Steve Parr wandered in from American Ground Radio, heard nightly on Keel from, 6 to 7, right?
Yeah, 6 to 7 in the evening.
6 to 7. Speaking, I almost said 5 to 6 because I was thinking of Greg Adams, who does the show before you.
He does.
And I heard this phrase yesterday. I don't know how. I know Matt and Greg are pretty tight.
Okay.
I don't know how well you know Greg, if you know Greg well at all, if you've ever hung out.
We haven't hung out, but we've talked.
It
was cordial.
I heard this phrase yesterday in reference to someone else, and it made me think about Adams.
Okay.
And the phrase is, and I'm going to insert his name, Greg's name. The phrase is, I wish I could care about one thing, one time, as much as Greg Adams cares about everything all the time. Would you say that pretty much sums him up?
Yeah, that's fairly accurate.
Passionate, intense. Sure.
Passionate.
Yeah.
Intense.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about just past 8 o'clock?
Man, it's your show. I'm here for you, man.
A lot of, I want to, because of your background in, you've got a degree in, what is it, geoscience?
Master's in geosciences, yeah.
And you're kind of a global warming guy in the same vein that am I, that we look at it and go, what a gag. The point being, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the congresswoman from New York, says we've got 12 years.
Well, we had 12 years about 14 years ago.
The NASA guy who 10 years ago said we've got 10 years.
James Hansen.
So, yeah, we're going to start there.
All right, great.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. It's time for Sean Hannity right now.
Waking up on the right side. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
I was watching Terry McAuliffe over the weekend calling for Northam to resign. And you'd never know it by the media coverage, but McAuliffe kind of played a crucial role in inflicting this guy on the people of Virginia because, Washington Post reported at the time that Virginia Democrats gathered Saturday at the state capitol. They had a ready-made mantra, we're welcoming and inclusive, and Donald Trump is divisive and dangerous. And, quote, I can't believe what I read in the newspapers and see on the news about the other side, said Northam. We all will work together to defeat Donald Trump in 2016. The speech served to rally Democrats, and he got his formal endorsement from Terry McAuliffe and Mark Warner and Tim Kaine that Saturday morning.
From coast to coast, from sea to shining sea, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
Smoking is not about politics. It's about people. There are 34 million Americans that smoke. But for me, Juul was a game changer because you switch to Juul. It's simple, it's satisfying, and no more smell. I watch people all the time. They run outside in the freezing cold. It can be grabbing their cigarette. Well, with Juul, you'll take a quick puff and you're good. That's it. Now, Juul is designed with smokers in mind. From its form to technology, it's easy to use, no buttons, no switches. And the goal of Juul is to impact the lives of adult smokers by providing a satisfying alternative. Switch to Juul. You'll wish you had done it a long time ago. To discover the smoking alternative that is nothing like any e-cig vape you have ever tried, go to this website, Juul.com/Switch America. That's Juul.com/Switch America. Warning, this product contains nicotine, and nicotine is an addictive chemical. Juul.com/Switch America.
Watch out for a slowdown near Towel Drive and Technology Drive as a major accident is being cleaned up there. And, of course, that 18-wheeler on its side, I-49 North, just south of the Frierson exit. If you see anything else, make sure you let us know by calling us on the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Warm temperatures across the Arklatex, but we will trend cooler toward the end of the week with highs in the 40s on Friday. Clouds here today, a rain shower, 76. Cloudy tonight, low 66. Clouds tomorrow with an afternoon shower, 76. Rain and thunderstorms on Thursday. Thursday's high, 70. Richard Wettigan, the Weather Channel.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 1017 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.
Just a couple of seconds past 8 o'clock. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Erin has local news in a second or two. Parky, what's on her list of stories?
Well, we got an update on Scott Smith. Erin will cover that in the news. A Caddo student was arrested for terrorizing. We got all the details on that.
What?
Yeah, and you got to hear this. And there was a law enforcement summit at City Hall yesterday. We got some details.
Steve Parr, American Ground Radio. He'll be joining us in the 8 o'clock hour. Lots to talk about, and I'm going to start off. I'll just give him the heads up now. I'm going to have him talk about his dad, and it's an awesome story. So hold your horses. That's coming up. Fletcher in sports, traffic, and weather. It's all here this hour, coming up on KEEL.
KEEL Morning Report, now on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
The Bossier superintendent steps down. Matt Parker with details.
Amid a federal drug investigation, Bossier Schools has announced that Superintendent Scott Smith has retired effective immediately. While no charges have officially been filed, Smith is being investigated for allegedly purchasing a large quantity of prescription drugs online. The school board will meet on Thursday to appoint an interim superintendent. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
There was a law enforcement summit at City Hall. Shreveport Mayor Adrian Perkins and Police Chief Ben Raymond met with the U.S. Attorney, the City Marshal, members of Barksdale, reps from the Caddo Sheriff's Office, and others to talk about ways to build partnerships and make the community as a whole safer. Bossier City leaders say the water system has tested negative for brain-eating amoeba. The water samples were taken on January 23rd. The city's been battling the amoeba since early October, and now that the system has tested completely negative, city leaders say they will start reducing chlorine levels in the water. To help combat the issue in the future, the city has installed 22 automatic flushing units and 2 new chemical boosting stations. A 15-year-old North Caddo Magnet High student behind bars after making threats on social media. According to the sheriff, the boy threatened to shoot another student at school due to an ongoing dispute. The student's been arrested and booked into the juvenile lockup. Alfred Wilson is locked up today in Bossier after a physical altercation with a 66-year-old man. According to police, Wilson punched the elderly man and destroyed his phone. Then at some point after police arrived, Wilson also hit an officer. Wilson faces a laundry list of charges, including criminal property damage and battery on an officer. Governor Edwards has released a couple of new digital ads, with the message being the state is better off now compared to how it was when he took over. Political analyst Bernie Pincinat says it's an absolute must for Edwards to start campaigning now before opposing campaigns begin to target him.
The governor is doing what he should be doing, which is getting out ahead of the critics who are going to start attacking his lack of accomplishments, his breaking his promise not to raise taxes.
Pincinat expects return fire from GOP candidates, highlighting the shortcomings of Edwards' first term. The U.S. Supreme Court will take up a challenge to a Louisiana law requiring abortion clinics to have admitting privileges at a local hospital. Loyola law professor Dan Cialino says a ruling in favor of the law could signal a major shift in the court's treatment of abortion-related issues.
Supreme Court watchers, of course, are very interested in this case because it'll signal whether the court has any interest in disturbing what is now binding precedent.
The law's been put on hold until at least Thursday. The president speaks to the nation tonight for his annual State of the Union address. It comes just after a contentious government shutdown centered on his demands for funding a border wall, a demand that ultimately was not met. Senator John Kennedy says he expects the president will touch on these 3 major questions.
the crisis we're having on our southern border. I hope he'll give us an update on his trade discussions. My guess is the president will talk a little bit about North Korea and where we are with our negotiations with Kim Jong-un.
The speech will be made in the House of Representatives. A prominent competitor to Netflix is claiming the streamer is deceiving the public about what's a hit and what is not. The FX network's chief says that Netflix is using cloudy measurements to claim its audience numbers. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. A little traffic. Here's Brandon.
Several accidents in the Shreveport-Bossier City area do have traffic moving a bit slowly in areas, including Thompson Lane and Birdwell Lane, where a major accident is being cleaned up right now, and at Bessie Street and Greenwood Road, where a minor accident is being cleaned up as well. If you see anything else, make sure you let us know by calling us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Warm temperatures across the Arklatex, but we will trend cooler toward the end of the week with highs in the 40s on Friday. Clouds here today, a rain shower, 76. Cloudy tonight, low 66. Clouds tomorrow with an afternoon shower, 76. Rain and thunderstorms on Thursday. Thursday's high, 70. Richard Wettigan, the Weather Channel.
We got a Facebook message that said the show was a rerun.
Yes, we did.
But if it were a rerun, I couldn't say it's a rerun.
Or maybe this is Memorex, and we just got it all taped up.
Wow. Did you go old school on that? 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Sitting in for a little bit is Steve Parr from American Ground Radio. You can hear that nightly, weeknights on KEEL from 6 till 7 with Louis R. Avalone. You came in, you sat down. We always chat. We barely get along. Everybody knows that. But look, I'm always looking for a hook when you come in.
Okay.
To talk about one of the things that you are most passionate about.
All right.
And one of those is telling stories about your father, talking about your dad, who I think lives in Austin, right?
He's down in Houston.
Okay, Houston.
Yeah.
And you came in, and you had a black windbreaker on.
Yeah.
And I said, that's a good-looking windbreaker. Where did you pick that up? I'm thinking you're going to go, what's the one begins with a B up there by the church?
The Burlington Coat
Burlington.
Factory.
All I could think was Steve Berline, the quarterback. Yeah. Berline Coat Factory. And then you started talking about, no, I kind of pilfered it from my father.
I did, yeah.
Okay. Talk a little bit about your dad. First of all, tell me about the jacket. You said it's like 40 years old?
It's an old, at least from the 1980s. And I just took
government issue.
Yeah, it's a government issue, military black jacket that he would wear, with his Army dress and, go on to base to work and whatever. And he'd wear this jacket over his green with the tie. And yeah.
Now, I love it when Erin talks about her dad.
Yeah.
Who was John McCarty. And he was a Marine in the Pacific Theater in World War II, specifically at Okinawa.
Right.
Where he won the Bronze Star.
And so she's got some great stories about
and
it.
I've kind of described it to other people this way. You've seen the Forrest Gump scene.
Yes.
In Vietnam, where Forrest goes back and he gets Bubba and he gets Captain Dan and he drags everybody.
Bubba.
That was basically what her dad did.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
In the heat of battle at Okinawa in World War II, the difference being where Forrest Gump was running, maybe you got the sense it was like a quarter mile to get everybody in a quarter. What Erin's dad did was go get 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 wounded Marines under fire at a distance of maybe 20 yards.
Right, yeah.
So he literally would crawl, put one on his back and crawl back, and he did that 5 or 6 or 7 times.
Wow.
Saving the lives of his fellow Marines. For that, he was awarded the Bronze Star.
Only? That sounds like more than a Bronze Star to
That's
me.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Your dad, your father was...
He was a West Pointer, and then after West Point...
so he graduated...
67.
Does he still have a loyalty to that school, which is...
Oh, my word. It's in his will. And actually, he was the president of the 50th anniversary class. So 67 was when he graduated. So
2017.
2017. So what happens is there's the long gray line is this association of graduates. Basically, you are connected all the way back to Grant and before.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So the long gray line. So the 50th class mentors the 50th class after. So 67 mentored the class of 17, and my dad was the head of this program. And there are several really awesome traditions. Now, one of them that was my favorite tradition that he helped oversee, if you've ever seen a West Pointer, John Bell Edwards has got the ring on his hand, the really big, looks like kind of like a Super Bowl ring. That is his West Point class ring, and he wears it a lot. And one of the things that's really cool about this is that there's pieces mixed in with the gold in that ring from the class 50 years before. So the 2017 class, the guys that just graduated 2 years ago, in their rings, there is some gold that is mixed in from rings of guys in the class of 67 that passed away. And they go up to this foundry. I believe it's up in Connecticut.
So it's sort of a tradition.
Yes.
That when you pass away, if you're a West Point grad, that your ring goes back to...
Some people can. That's one of the things that people do. So there were people who passed away, and they donated, they willed their rings...
Back to the school.
Back to the school to be melted down.
Wow.
And use the gold from their rings in the gold for the rings of the class from 2017.
Awesome. Keep going.
And my dad still has his West Point ring. He wears it. Maybe there's been 5 days in my lifetime where I didn't see him wearing that ring. And his classmate passed away a couple of years ago. His roommate, the guy actually my brother's named after, passed away a couple of years ago. And his ring, my dad got to take up to this foundry up in Connecticut and put in the molten metal, and it was melted down, and it's now a piece of the rings for the class of this last 2 years ago, 2017.
Wow.
Isn't that a great story? Just the
Now,
unity.
Your father, I am amazed by stuff like that. I
Yeah.
am just transfixed by your story right now. The point I'm making is that okay, so he gets out of West Point, and he was a second lieutenant coming out of West Point.
He was, yeah. I went to Germany for a while, and he was actually put on the border when the Soviets invaded Czechoslovakia in, I guess this was 67, 68. When the Soviets invaded Czechoslovakia, the military sent my dad to the border of West Germany and Czechoslovakia, and he was right on the border. And his orders were, if the Soviets come across the border into West Germany, your job is to live for 5 minutes.
What?
That's all they wanted him to do, was just survive.
Slow them down.
For 5 minutes.
So basically you're Davy at the Alamo.
That's it. Yeah, slow him down for 5 minutes. That was his order. So fortunately, the Soviets never came across, or I wouldn't be here on the radio.
Now, from there, he went to Vietnam.
Yes.
And every time, and perhaps I'm sort of aggrandizing in my mind, but every time you talk about your dad in Vietnam,
yeah,
I think of the Mel Gibson movie We Were Soldiers.
Yeah.
Is that an unfair?
No, and he actually looked a lot like Mel Gibson in that movie. I saw that movie, and when I saw Mel Gibson in that outfit, I immediately thought of pictures I saw my dad in Vietnam. That's what my dad looked like, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about his service in Vietnam, especially because there is one, and you've told the story before, but I'm just astonished. There is one statistic that is absolutely incredible.
He was a company commander of a mechanized infantry division in Vietnam. And in his time as company commander, he did not lose one single soldier under his command. Everybody that was working under his command
I would assume
survived.
This is a ton of firefights.
He was in firefights a lot, and there was actually a firefight where every single person in his company was wounded, every single one, including him, and none of them died. 3 of them, and I'll tell you what, this was a big, big firefight, and it lasted hours and hours and hours. Everybody was wounded. He talks about his second in command who had a leg shot off, and in the middle of the fight, he's crawling around checking on other people in the fight, even though he can't walk now. He's having to crawl because he only has one leg. This was a big, big fight. And there were 3 of his soldiers that were medevaced out in the middle of the fight, and my dad never heard from them again, didn't know anything. In 1987, we were in Washington, D.C., and I remember going down to the Vietnam Wall for the first time. And my mom and I were standing there, and we watched my dad, and he was looking along the wall, and he was looking for something. He had found several classmates' names. He was looking for something, couldn't find it. And finally, this very nice young lady came over, and she had like a telephone book, and she said, "Can I help you find a name?" And so he told her, first person's name, and she was like, "I'm sorry, I can't find that name." And he said, "Okay, well, here's the second person's name." She's like, "No, that person's not on this wall either." He goes to the third person's name. Nope. Those were the 3 people who had been medevaced out of that flight. And that was the moment he found out that all 3 of them survived the war because they weren't on the wall.
More with Steve Parr, American Ground Radio, nightly here on KEEL 6 till 7, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Brandon.
Several accidents in the Shreveport-Bossier City area do have traffic moving a bit slowly in areas, including Thompson Lane and Birdwell Lane, where a major accident is being cleaned up right now, and at Bessie Street and Greenwood Road, where a minor accident is being cleaned up as well. If you see anything else, make sure you let us know by calling us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Warm temperatures across the Arklatex, but we will trend cooler toward the end of the week with highs in the 40s on Friday. Clouds here today, a rain shower, 76. Cloudy tonight, low 66. Clouds tomorrow with an afternoon shower, 76. Rain and thunderstorms on Thursday. Thursday's high, 70. Richard Wettigan, the Weather Channel.
.107 FM, 710 KEEL Sports Update. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Former New Orleans first-round pick Darren Collison scored 22 points, including 5 in the final 2 minutes, to lead Indiana to a 109-107 win over the skidding Pelicans in the Smoothie King Center. The The Pelicans were not only missing Anthony Davis, but Nikola Mirotic, Julius Randle, Elfrid Payton, and Antoine Moore also missed Monday's game. Pelicans have lost 3 in a row. The Dallas Mavericks welcomed Kristaps Porzingis to town Monday, even though the freshly acquired talent from New York won't play until sometime next season due to a knee injury. Mavs owner Mark Cuban made it clear the team's intention is to pair Porzingis with rookie sensation Luka Doncic. Quote, "Our goal is to keep these two together for the next 20 years. What is a shame is that Porzingis and Dirk Nowitzki most likely will never play together because Porzingis is out for the rest of the season." LSU's women rebounded from a pair of consecutive losses, including an embarrassing blowout by Mississippi State last Thursday with a 61-51 win over visiting Missouri last night. Former Loyola Lady Flyer Amber Smith had 10 points for Mizzou. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. KEEL app, a free download from Office Furniture Source. Steve Parr from American Ground Radio is here for a little bit. I almost didn't recognize you because you're losing your hair rapidly. And I'm not sure if that, it bothers me to this day. I'm not sure, despite the constant razzing from me. Every time Steve comes in, I said, dude, your head's getting bigger.
I know, yeah.
I get
your
the sense
face is getting smaller.
I get the sense it doesn't bother you in the least.
Not at all. Not at all.
Really?
Yeah.
God, it makes me crazy.
My face makes you crazy? My face bugs you?
No, the fact that I've been the first time I realized I was getting a bald spot in the back was I was in Cleveland and we did a radio station TV commercial, and I don't remember the exact. I think I was in a swimming pool, believe it or not, and they shot me over the shoulder, and I could see the beginnings of a ball, and I'm going, oh my God!
I caught myself on a security camera in a store, and I saw straight through to my brains.
Oh my God! So here's my theory about this, and as you are rapidly losing your hair, also, maybe. I want you to think about this. In fact, I'm going to tell you this.
Okay.
And from this point forward, when you look in the mirror, you will be unable to think about anything else.
Fair enough.
Okay, so measure the distance, and bald guys, you can do this, is measure the distance from your eyebrows, because I started doing this, and it still depresses me to talk about it.
Yeah, and I notice you're raising your eyebrows as you do this.
Because it makes it smaller. The distance from my eyebrows to my hairline.
Right, yes.
Is basically the same distance as my eyebrows to my chin.
Yes.
So what I have here in this space, from my eyebrows to my hairline, is room for a whole second face.
Yes. You just put a whole one out there. Yeah.
And that just so troubles me.
Right, because that's not where another face belongs.
No. No. I could put a second nose. I could put another pair of glasses. It's horrible.
But you know what? You now have your Halloween costume already planned out.
And I look at myself in the mirror, and all I see is a head shape that's sort of like the guy in The Hills Have Eyes. It's just awful.
It's not quite cone heads.
And it bothers me. But it bothers me more that this doesn't bother you at all, that you have no...
Do you want to know why?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Here's why. I don't think it's fair for me to judge anybody else for something they can't control. Okay? So the way someone else looks, If someone else is born with a disability, I can't judge them because
so now
they're
my hair
born.
loss is we're into disability now.
Well, no, I'm just saying if there's something that somebody else
Do I
can't
get
control.
I'm bald. Do I get a sparking place?
It's not okay for me to be racist to judge someone else for the color of their skin. That's not something somebody else can control. So why would I judge myself for something that I really can't control? And my genetics, which I didn't create, I didn't choose, I didn't pick my own DNA, it says you're going to lose your hair. If I don't get to judge other people for things they can't control, why should I be concerned about people judging me for something I can't control? So that's why it doesn't bother me.
God, we are so different. I told Matt, and he knows this, there's this stuff called, and you may have seen it on YouTube, it's called Topics. And basically it's sprinkle on hair.
Yes.
And the first time I came across it was when we did a TV commercial in Dallas about 20 years ago. And to make a long story short, they used it on the bald spot in the back, and it was incredible. And the guy who was the TV director gave me a sample, and I used it a couple of times.
Yeah.
And people literally said to me, "Have you lost weight?"
See, I'd be afraid of that because you're talking about just sprinkling something on your hair, and I get this vision of as you run your fingers through your hair, it'd be like a wide receiver dragging his toe along the turf in the AstroTurf,
Like
and now
a
you see
little
the rubber pellets shoot up.
Because they give you, there's a spray that goes with it that plasticizes it.
Oh,
Basically,
good. Okay.
What do you call it when you run like through the plastic machine with your driver's license?
Laminate.
Your hair is laminated.
I don't want my head laminated.
Well, the point was, so I get this email from Topics a couple of weeks ago offering me a free sample. Well, in the intervening years, my hair has basically turned gray.
Sure.
So I ordered gray Topics, and I sprinkled it on. I'm going, this is going to be awesome. It looked like I had put soot on my hair. It was the most unattractive. It
like you've been playing in Wildfire.
Basically it. Okay. Have you seen the article? And we're going to talk about this in a couple of minutes, maybe a little bit later this hour for sure. Have you seen the article? Have you? Mary Poppins is racist.
Yes.
Have you seen that?
I've seen that.
I have decided, I told Erin this, I have decided to live my life for at least a week with the mindset of everything is racist or sexist or bigoted or homophobic. I am trying to sort of dedicate my life through the lens of a snowflake liberal.
Okay.
I'll explain to you how it's working.
Yeah.
The world is so much worse than I thought.
See?
101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic update now. Erin has local news just ahead.
Several accidents in the Shreveport-Bossier City area do have traffic moving a bit slowly in areas, including Thompson Lane and Birdwell Lane, where a major accident is being cleaned up right now, and at Bessie Street and Greenwood Road, where a minor accident is being cleaned up as well. If you see anything else, make sure you let us know by calling us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Warm temperatures across the Arklatex, but we will trend cooler toward the end of the week with highs in the 40s on Friday. Clouds here today, a rain shower, 76. Cloudy tonight, low 66. Clouds tomorrow with an afternoon shower, 76. Rain and thunderstorms on Thursday. Thursday's high, 70. Richard Wettigan, the Weather Channel.
KEEL News now.
Fighting crime, a top priority in our region. There was a law enforcement summit at City Hall. The mayor and the police chief met with the U.S. attorney, the city marshal, members of Barksdale, and reps from the Caddo Sheriff's Office and others to talk about ways to build partnerships and make the community safer. Amid a federal drug investigation, Bossier Schools announcing that Superintendent Scott Smith has retired, effective immediately. While no charges have officially been filed, Smith is being investigated for allegedly purchasing a large quantity of prescription drugs online. The school board set to meet on Thursday to appoint an interim superintendent. A Caddo student arrested for terrorizing. Matt Parker with that.
A 15-year-old North Caddo Magnet High student is behind bars after making threats on social media. According to Caddo Parish Sheriff Steve Prater, the boy threatened to shoot another student at school due to an ongoing dispute. The student has been arrested and booked into the Juvenile Detention Center. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Bossier City leaders say their water system has tested negative for brain-eating amoeba. The water samples were taken on January 23rd. The city's been battling the amoeba since early October. Alfred Wilson behind bars in Bossier after a physical altercation with a 66-year-old man. Police believe Wilson punched the elderly man and destroyed his phone. Then at some point after police arrived, Wilson also struck an officer. If you need help with your taxes, IRS volunteers are ready to help. They'll be at the Hamilton branch of the Shreve Memorial Library every Monday from 5 to 7 p.m. until April 8th. President Donald Trump is expected to call for optimism and unity in his State of the Union address tonight. Louisiana Senator John Kennedy says the speech won't just be about struggles like immigration and trade. He anticipates the commander-in-chief will also highlight his economic policies.
My guess is he'll spend some time talking about some of our accomplishments. The economy's doing great. It's not doing so well in part in Louisiana, but the reason for that is our state government.
On immigration, thousands of migrants from Central America are in Mexico across the border from Eagle Pass, Texas, hoping to get into the U.S. Griff Jenkins is at a shelter in Mexico housing those migrants and says many of them are having health issues.
They're sick, they're coughing, they have flu-like symptoms. There's gastrointestinal conditions, and there's one confirmed case of HIV and another case that they're really watching that they believe is exhibiting symptoms of swine flu.
The Border Patrol concerned that some of those migrants may cross into the U.S. by wading across the river. A new big king in the airport world. We get that from Chris Foster.
O'Hare International in Chicago was the busiest airport in the country last year, knocking Hartsfield-Jackson in Atlanta down to second place. The Federal Aviation Administration put out the 2018 numbers showing O'Hare had more than 903,000 arrivals and departures, about 8,000 more than Atlanta. United Airlines has been adding more flights from Chicago to smaller Midwestern cities. The next busiest airports in the U.S. were Los Angeles International, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Denver International. Chris Foster, Fox News.
This one might have you scratching your head. It's from the small town of Arnaudville in St. Martin Parish, where a 42-year-old woman is accused of stealing flowers and other items from a cemetery. Police believe she was flipping the stolen goods on social media. I'm Erin McCarty from 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin. Steve Parr here in Erin's stead, so to speak. Did you watch the Super Bowl?
I did not.
Based on you were doing other things. See, I didn't watch any of the no pregame, no first half, no halftime. I turned it on maybe midway through the third quarter because I was just out doing stuff.
Yeah.
I went out to do what I thought was going to be about a 30-minute run, and it ended up being close to an hour. And I just got doing other things and didn't turn it on until later. Now, was yours either politically or motivated?
No, it just I didn't really have a desire to watch either the Rams or the Patriots win a Super Bowl
because
because the Rams shouldn't have been there, frankly. But I mean I'm a Cowboys fan, not necessarily a Saints fan, but I saw that play and the Rams should have lost that game. And then I don't want to see the Patriots win another Super Bowl. They've had plenty of Super Bowls to win.
I heard a guy last night talking about, because ratings were down like 20%.
A lot.
Normally in whatever Nielsen metrics it is, Super Bowl pulls about 55 share, which means 55% of all televisions in use at that specific time.
Right.
And this time it was a 44. So that's about a 20% viewer drop.
That's a pretty big drop.
And my thought, what the guy was talking about last night was, he said, I think there's a great deal of Patriot fatigue.
Yeah, I agree.
Really?
I think there is. There's Patriot fatigue. I mean, it's great. And, hey, Belichick and Brady, congratulations for doing so well for so long. That's pretty amazing. I just don't need to see it.
See, my sense was, and I don't know if you heard this, and I have been chastised, I have been looked down on for this, but I'm sticking to it, is I think the Rams lost the game because they felt guilty. I think they knew. No, I'm totally serious. I think they the 2 weeks leading up, they had a lot of guilt. I think basically they're good, decent people from top to bottom.
Okay,
but their consciences bothered them to such a degree that Jared Goff, I'm not sure he could look in the mirror for the last 2 weeks. And I think that was what paralyzed them. Not to be insensitive, but I think that was why they played so bad. I think they in New Orleans.
Yeah,
the rating was 22.
It's really low.
The average Super Bowl rating in New Orleans in previous years has, in fact, been the standard, the sort of the bar of 55.
Right.
It's held true in New Orleans, just about the same rating as nationwide.
Yeah.
In New Orleans this past weekend, the Super Bowl had a television rating of 22.
See, when the game was on, I turned to my daughter and I said, hey, do you want to watch the Super Bowl? She's like, well, who's in it? I said, the Rams and the Patriots. She went, ugh. And then I said, well, I mean, it's a cultural event too. We could watch it, and then that way you can tell your friends, you're part of the culture, you're in on it. She's like, nah, I'm good. So, I mean, we just did other things.
I had mentioned earlier, I have 4 friends who I know specifically didn't watch the Super Bowl, 2 of them because they're big Saints fans. And my one friend, Tommy, his quote was, I'm not going to watch it. I said, why? He said, because the Saints got screwed. And I said, what are you going to do? He said, I'm hoping there's a Housewives of Atlanta marathon on. 8:39, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Steve Parr here, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Mary Poppins is racist. And if you buy that, what would it be like to live your life for a week through the lens of a snowflake liberal college professor? I am trying. And I got to tell you, I'm pretty damn good at it. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic update. Here's Brandon.
Several accidents in the Shreveport-Bossier City area do have traffic moving a bit slowly in areas, including Thompson Lane and Birdwell Lane, where a major accident is being cleaned up right now, and at Bessie Street and Greenwood Road, where a minor accident is being cleaned up as well. If you see anything else, make sure you let us know by calling us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Warm temperatures across the Arklatex, but we will trend cooler toward the end of the week with highs in the 40s on Friday. Clouds here today, a rain shower, 76. Cloudy tonight, low 66. Clouds tomorrow with an afternoon shower, 76. Rain and thunderstorms on Thursday. Thursday's high, 70. Richard Wettigan, the Weather Channel.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884. Steve Parr here for a little bit. American Ground Radio, heard nightly on Keel 6 till 7 with Louis R. Avalone. What you guys got on the agenda for tonight?
Actually, I haven't put the show together yet. We'll probably be talking about State of the Union because that's coming up this evening.
You know, I honestly, I thought it would have been a lot more awesome if he'd done it like, if he'd taken it on the road,
done a rally,
and done it in a 100,000-seat stadium,
right,
and people would have gone crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just do your State of the Union, and because there's nothing in the Constitution that says you have to be in the House of Representatives or in the Senate. He could have done it anywhere and just sent a letter, and the network still would have covered it.
Not to get way off track, and this may take us in a totally different direction, this segment that I planned, but after the midterm elections and the Democrats took control of the House, I said America en masse didn't vote for Democrats last night, meaning election night. They voted for the hope of peace and quiet. And what I mean by that is I think Americans were sort of hoping that if they'd just been beaten down by the constant harangue by the mainstream media, the three networks, CNN, etc. Trump sucks, Trump's horrible, America's unraveling. And I think most Americans thought, well, to some degree this must be true, and maybe if we vote for Democrats, things will calm down. And I said, trust me on this, just the opposite is going to happen.
Right.
It's going to be an even bigger, and I used the profane term, but I'll just say sheep show.
Okay.
I said the sheep show is just beginning, and if you doubt that, just wait and see. And nothing that has happened since Nancy Pelosi retook the speaker's chair the first week of January, it's more strident, it's more polarized, it's uglier than ever, and it's going to get even uglier.
Right, because we've awarded bad behavior. The Democrats have behaved horribly since Donald Trump was elected, and they campaigned on behaving horribly. Maxine Waters promoted bad behavior, and people rewarded that. Now, what happens when you reward bad behavior?
You get more bad behavior,
You get more bad behavior.
Yeah.
By the way, in the 1990s, when Bill Clinton was president and the Republicans took over the House, Bill Clinton went, ooh, I've got to change my behavior. And Bill Clinton moderated and went towards the middle. Remember that? He said the era of big government is now over. When Barack Obama lost the House, he didn't decide to do the same lesson. He went, I've now got to double down on my liberal policy. So he pulled the other way.
Which is what the Democrats are doing now.
And that's exactly, the Democrats are still going off of Barack Obama's, we will not moderate, we will become more extreme. And by the way, that is what has opened up a existential threat to any Democrat running for president, which is Tom Steyer from Starbucks. Because the Democrat Party has moved so far to the left with abortion on demand, with resist, with the Women's March, with everything
Antifa.
Is LGBT, with Mary Poppins is now racist.
We'll get to that in a second.
Because they've moved so far to the left, there's now a gaping hole where the heart of the Democrat Party used to be when Bill Clinton was president, and that's where Tom Steyer is running.
The classic family film Mary Poppins has been branded racist by a number of U.S. academics who accuse Julie Andrews of blacking up with soot while dancing with chimney sweeps.
Yes.
The famous scene, it's Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke and the kids.
Right.
In the movie, he's Bert the chimney sweep.
Yes.
In a piece for the New York Times, just to give you some inclination as the point you just made, how far to the left American, what was once mainstream journalism,
yes,
he said using air quotes, has moved. In a piece for the New York Times, Professor Daniel Pollock Pelsner criticizes one of the film's iconic moments when Mary joins Dick Van Dyke's Bert to dance on a rooftop for the classic song Step in Time. He writes, when the magical nanny, played by Andrews, Mary Poppins, accompanies her young charges, Michael and Jane Banks, up the chimney, her face gets covered in soot. But instead of wiping it off, she gamely powders her nose and cheeks even blacker. And that is interpreted by the political left as racist.
And what they've really missed, unfortunately, is the most racist part of Mary Poppins, which is Dick Van Dyke's accent. That's just awful.
Now, I have attempted, I saw this article, I think it was Sunday afternoon, maybe Sunday evening. And I thought, you know, what if I tried to live my life, if I tried to view the world through the lens of a snowflake, liberal, overly sensitive college professor?
You're going to go looking for offense.
It's everywhere, my friend.
Show me.
Here's an example, and I'm not joking. So I'm watching last night. It's the Jet Li movie from the early 2000s. And it's called Romeo Must Die. And basically, he's like this kung fu guy. And he gets caught in the middle of a gang war between two black gangs. And in one of the scenes, one of the gangs is trying to get him, to kill him. And it's in a warehouse, and it's like your typical Jet Li fight or Jason Statham fight. It's like 10 on 1, right?
Yeah.
And you know he's going to win. You're wondering, well, how's he going to get out of this?
How's he going to?
Well, at one point, he's backed into a corner, and there is a fire hose on the wall. And he takes the fire hose, and he turns it on full blast. And he uses the fire hose to repel the African-American gang member.
Just like in Selma.
Just like in Birmingham with Bull Connor.
Yeah.
George Wallace.
Right.
All the riots from the 60s. And I'm thinking, see how easy it to find? The fact that this movie is almost 20 years old and he has never, ever, ever been pilloried by the liberal media for such a racist scene.
They just missed it. They just missed. Now, you've been looking for offense everywhere. Here's my question. Are you happier?
849, it's 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here is your money now.
You're listening to American Ground Radio's Morning Minute.
The Border Patrol is set to start construction on 33 miles of border fencing in South Texas this week, thanks to $600 million in construction costs for barriers along the new border approved by Congress last year.
And this all comes as thousands of migrants head to the border. Look, this debate over building a wall out of concrete or steel with observation towers or with razor fencing is really all immaterial. Either you are in favor of no borders or believe in having a country at all. You cannot do both.
Given the history of funding projects along the border, it seems the Democrats only oppose border construction now because Donald Trump is in favor of it.
American Ground Radio, where building a better America begins with building a better us. Return each weeknight from 6 to 7 p.m. with Louis R. Avalone and Stephen Parr on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, and streaming live at KEELnews.com.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Steve Parr sitting in a couple more minutes. American Ground Radio heard nightly on KEEL with Louis R. Avalone and the aforementioned Mr. Parr from 6 till 7. Last few days, what's been your favorite story? Not necessarily favorite in the sense of this makes me feel good, but what has motivated you? For me, the one that I just can't let go is the New York abortion law, the proposed abortion law in Virginia, the one that's just been introduced in Vermont, and the comments by Ralph Northam, who is the Virginia governor.
I think that's the very defining whole story. And again, it's not just Virginia, New York, Vermont.
There's Rhode Island, Connecticut is another.
New Mexico as well.
See, I didn't see that.
And I think that whole idea that you mentioned it early last hour, that they're saying the right to have an abortion, it's a fundamental right to have an abortion.
Here's the Vermont law.
Yeah.
Every individual who becomes pregnant has the fundamental right to choose to carry a pregnancy to term, give birth to a child, or to have an abortion.
So here's where this is wrong.
And there's no time frame at all on that.
Here's where this is wrong. Go back to the second sentence of the Declaration of Independence. In that, we says, we are all endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights that cannot be taken away, that among these are the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, those are in a specific order for a specific reason. You cannot pursue your happiness if you are not free. So liberty has to come before this pursuit of happiness, right? Your right to pursue your happiness cannot come at the expense of somebody else's liberty. That's why kidnapping is illegal, because you're denying somebody else's liberty. Well, liberty has to come after life. You can't be free if you're not alive. So life has to come first. So your right to liberty ends at someone else's right to life. This is why if you have a firefighter who's off duty, just driving on vacation with his family, sees a car wreck on the side of the road, that firefighter has to stop and pull over and render aid, even if the firefighter's off duty, because the firefighter has the obligation to try and protect life. The firefighter has to give up his liberty to protect life. This is where the right to abortion as a fundamental right does not exist, because your right to liberty, the control of your own body, ends at someone else's right to life. And if you are trying to declare a fundamental right to abortion and that ends someone else's right to life, not only is it morally wrong, it's un-American because it goes against the Declaration of
So in 10
Independence.
seconds, right to life in your mind is codified, not in your mind. It is there, codified in the Constitution.
It's right. It's the first right that's mentioned, and it's because it's the first right that has to happen.
American Ground Radio, Steve Parr, Louis R. Avalone, every weeknight here on KEEL 6 till 7. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Go. Back tomorrow morning, 6 till 9. Here's Kim Commando on KEEL.
Yesterday, Facebook turned 15 years old, and sensationalized fake news such as bacon is as harmful as cigarettes is still rampant all over the site. Kim Commando with your Tuesday Consumer Tech Update. Stay up to date with the latest tech news and extended interviews with the free Commando podcast, available on Apple and Google. A bipartisan group of scientists studied so-called health news on Facebook. They found that the number one news story was about research that proves marijuana is safer than tobacco. It was shared over 1 million times. Well, there was no research. It was actually someone's opinion. Another top story claimed that ADHD is caused by the pharmaceutical companies so that they can sell drugs. Okay, the more outlandish the health claims, the more those stories are shared on Facebook. Remember, don't share until you verify. Another actual news story making the rounds, Mark Zuckerberg is disgusted with all social media, will leave Facebook later this year. Unfortunately, that's fake too. I'm Kim Commando. For years, I've been telling you about my printer of choice, the Epson EcoTank 4750. And it's easy to tell you why. It's revolutionary, it's wireless, and a complete all-in-one printer that's 100% cartridge-free. Now, I don't know about you, but I used to hate to having my print jobs interrupted just to replace an ink cartridge. Now, there's no more hassle with the Epson EcoTank 4750 because it comes with up to 2 years of ink right in the box. That's enough to print up to 11,000 color pages, and that's equivalent to about 30 ink cartridge sets. If I had to go buy 30 cartridge sets, that would cost me about $1,500. I love my Epson EcoTank printer, and I know you will too. And from now till March 31st, buy any EcoTank printer at epson.com/EcoTankKim and get free overnight shipping when you use promo code EcoTankKim at checkout.
Offer valid within the 48 contiguous states. Exclusions apply, subject to availability.
Oh, this is me now. KEEL AccuWeather, KEEL Weather Channel forecast, kind of cloudy today and warm again, maybe as high as 70. Right now, 65 at KEEL, 7 o'clock, Fox News.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.